r/ask Reddit. What's really outdated yet still widely used? Every school website. After graduating in 2010, I was desperate for work and looked on my alma mater's jobs page. There was a huge photo of me and my friend that heavily implied we were employed and happy graduates. The way we apply to jobs online, everyone is using a different system to do the same thing. You'd think there would be a better system for applying to jobs by now than to be filling out an endless amount of the same forms and multiple choice questions. Why? Can we please just stop this unnecessary repetition? The phrase "catch you on the flip side." It's an old phrase back from when DJs would let a vinyl play all the way through so you wouldn't hear them talk again till they had to flip it. That's a damn fine piece of trivia. Arms are called guns because guns are called arms. That's a damn shitty piece of trivia. Windows XP. Fax machines. Came here to say this. I have to fax stuff out to doctors' offices and other hospitals daily at work. Ever send messages written from your intended receiver to themselves? Ila Jim's prank to Dwight in the office? A lot. School books and supplies. When I went to school we had world maps that still contained countries that hadn't existed for a decade. Granted, we still used 8 inches floppy disks in that office as well. Are you in charge of the USA's nuclear system? The Meta hasn't been updated since it was released. Actually, fascinatingly, their security certificates have been kept up to date. Someone is still maintaining it. Some deep subdivision of Warner Bros. One forgotten IT guy, somewhere deep within a basement, likely. Maybe he dwells in the server room. Maybe his name is Richmond Avenel. Maybe he gets paid $120k a year and no one remembers him. Everyone has forgotten him, and all he does is update the certs. Internet Explorer. We were talking about browsers and they claimed IE was the most popular browser in the UK. I sent them proof that refuted this and she blocked me. LOL. Popular as in people who don't know the alternatives use it exclusively, as it comes with Windows. Or at least used to. All those old corporate website systems that only load in IE compatibility mode. And it's really going to suck when IE support gets dropped. Edge is decent enough, but some things like our transaction processing system relies on IE being a thing. And while we're at it, can we please stop using public info, previous addresses, family names, for verification? That makes security worse. If a password fails then you let them in anyway via info they can look up. I'm college, they fired almost the entire catering and cafeteria staff because they all used the same SSN. It's not secure and doesn't hide anyone. You can get a job with an easily forged social security card and birth certificate. It was also promised your SSN would never be a national identifier. Oops. The US military still uses 8-inch floppy disks on outdated IBM computers to run the nuclear missile systems. It's because they are incredibly hard to hack. The computers are essentially air-gapped and the old IBM computers are reliable. If the military has extra parts and 8-inch floppy disks to transfer the data to avoid degradation, then there's no reason as to why they can't use the same tech to run the system for another 40 years. And also, updating carries risks of bugs. In 1983, the Soviets had a new radar system that reported US nuclear missiles bound for the USSR. Turns out it was an error caused by sunlight bouncing off clouds. If the radar operator hadn't figured out that it wasn't real, we might all be dead. Damn, I miss my TI-89. Best calculator ever. I'm in Calc 3 and differential equations. Still using the same TI-84 from 11th grade. The T-84 is a powerful beast that I never used again after finding the Wolfram Alpha website. Soon 2.7. The USACH Automated Clearinghouse, Electronic Funds Transfer System. The same architecture that was used to build the system in the 70s is still in use today, and it still closes down for the weekends to coincide with bank hours. Modern computers don't need to close on the weekends. It seems to me that the banks like this arrangement so they can use the money over the weekend. In other words, it's for the bank's enrichment and no benefits to the consumer. If they could figure out how to make more money than this scheme on a 24/7 system, they'd do it immediately. This is exactly what it is. Financial institutions have zero interest in changing this system, even though it does nothing but inconvenience the customer. Settlement days until funds are available are ultimately just the number of days they get to earn interest on your money. It's not a big deal to anyone on an individual basis, but they very much enjoy collectively robbing the country of its overnight interest. Fireworks. I mean, nuclear weapons have been around for ages now. The imperial system of measurement. Daylight saving time. It was decided that from 2021 all EU member states will stop participating in daylight savings clock turning. Each country can choose to stay in summertime or wintertime. The educational system. It certainly has its benefits, and I don't think the entire baby needs to be thrown out with the bathwater, but it certainly could use updating and not just piecemeal approaches that we've been doing. Are there any newer education philosophies that school systems should use now? These sold like hotcakes from the early till late 90s, but once bikes got their footing in the two-wheeler segment, it all went downhill for them, and finally production was discontinued by the manufacturers. At its peak, owning a scooter was sort of a status symbol. My grandpa has one. It's 25 years old, works pretty well. He's very proud. It's going to explode one day, no doubt. America's restaurant tipping system. Pegas. I think doctors still use it. And pretty much all EMS personnel. Has to do with the frequency at which they operate. Penetrates into deep concrete labyrinths. Unlike cell phones. The ones that work at VHF frequencies, around 150 MHz, in particular do a very good job in hilly, rural areas where cell phone coverage is spotty at best. Towels. Man, what the duck? We've been using this shit for ducking millennia and no one has come up with something better. The only alternative right now is those weird warm air domes. I don't know what to call them, rich people have, but I'd guess they're pretty expensive. Duck, I hate being forced by the towel monopoly. What would you use instead? Not hating but genuinely curious. Wait, no. AA. The program is like 70 years old, and in that time we have learned so much about addiction and proper treatment, but AA has essentially stayed the same. Normally I wouldn't care if AA was some tiny niche thing, but in the States we treat it like is the best only way for alcoholics and drug addicts to recover, but its success rate is about 8% and the WHO doesn't even place AA in the top 25 for recovery programs. I don't really care that AA is behind the times, but I would like it to be seen for the ineffective program it is. Watched too many of my friends and family relapse or die and go in and out of AA rooms thinking that was the only way to stay sober. Verse, chorus, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, 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 chorus. Isn't the standard toilet like more than 100 years old? I think with our technology now it could get a lot of upgrades. It's a chair you connect to a pipe. What do you wanna do, shit into a drone that flies your poop up to the sun? Yes. Websites of banks in India. Any website in India is pretty trash tbh, so cluttered. It's basically the 2000s back here. Cash toll booth with human toll takers on roadways instead of electronic tolls. Like Easy Pass. Not everyone using a toll road lives in that area, or even that state. In the US, there needs to be a way for out-of-towners to pay the toll, although the camera system in Texas seems to work. CCTV with 144p quality. As 400 computer systems. Developed in 1988 I believe. Still using this at work today. Cable TV. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.